Good evening, guys. It's Friday, March 27th, 2015. I never know the date. I don't know why. And I'm always working at home, working the evening, working the day, and I should know the date all the time, and I always forget. But anyways, it's about 9:20 Eastern Standard Time. And I wanted to come on because I wanted to make a comment about, I was just happening watching a YouTube video of a young lady and a mother, and she was talking about was riding to work, and she happened upon Steve Harvey's morning show. And he was on there doing his little shtick, and he did his little skit with Sister Odell, which is really him pretending to be a church lady and doing that little act. And she was saying that it's not fun, but every now and then she chuckled. I haven't listened to Steve Harvey show, to be honest with you, in a couple of years, his radio show. And anyways, she goes on to say that he was being Sister Odell at the church, talking about Easter Sunday and about don't bring in your retarded kids who are 34 years old with a pink dress and bobby socks and blowing bubbles and all of that. And this offended her, but it offended me as well. It offended me because I'm the mother of a child who has autism. She didn't ask for it. We did not even realize it was going on, but it was true. I have 4 daughters, and this one came out autistic. In her autism, it is a spectrum. It goes from mild to extreme. In her case, she has what's called Asperger's syndrome. With Asperger's syndrome, it's more of a personality and speech. For example, she literally did not speak until she was about 5, and then it was completely inaudible. It was unintelligible. We did not know what she was saying. Her older sister, was just a few years older. She would do that thing, older sister try to tell you what the younger one said, but we really could not understand it. She was 5, and then by the time she was 7, we knew, obviously, between 5 and 7, there was something really wrong. During that time, she was going through a lot of tests and things with her speech, and to see if she was hard of hearing. They even had got a temporary aid for her, and it wasn't any of that at all. She was autistic. So she has a speech issue, which we put her in speech for a very long time. And I also would I remember driving many times in the car, and she'd be in the back seat, and she would say something to me, and I would understand a part of it, but not all of it. Maybe it was one word or something that she misspoke on it, and then I would say to her the correct way to say it. And I could hear her back there working her darndest to say that word correctly. And, it really touched my heart. It broke my heart, but also inspired me that here she was. She knew something wasn't exactly right, but she was so committed to learning that. Also, being with Asperger's, it made her have, if you want to say shyness, extreme shyness. She just does not, even to this day, she will not interact with people. If she doesn't know you in the least bit, she won't have any interaction. She won't raise her hand and speak in class, whether it's right or wrong or whatever. We ultimately took her out of public school. We put her in the K-12 program where she works from home, and I've been teaching for years, and I had to go down to teaching part-time so I could be with her during the day to help teach her. And she's now in the 8th grade. She's very successful, reads very well, interacts with others to a point, and speaks clearly, of course. Every now and then she'll slip up on a word, and you'll see her self-correct. But I want to say this. I'm so sick and fucking tired of hearing comedians and everything else jump up and make jokes about kids that cannot help it. Be it Steve Harvey or Ricky Smiley or anybody else. It's not funny. Now, you can look at us as, oh, poor, pitiful me, and here we go sobbing about this again. But it's not like that at all. This is a human being, and I got blessed as a parent to have this child put into my care. It upped my game as a parent, as a human being, as an adult, as a teacher. It took me to all kinds of levels having her in my life. My love for her is obviously very deep. But she is an inspiration. Constantly she's striving to better herself. And she is the utmost in creative, left-handed girl, constantly drawing and creating things. She has her own channel, Camille 422001, and she does it herself and she works on it, and she is more computer savvy than I will ever be. She is more talented than I will ever be. She has the most compassionate and loving heart of anybody you have ever wanted to meet. She is kind and caring and fun and funny and silly and everything that you would want your child or your best friend to be. No child with any learning disability, speech disability, even behavior disability wants to be that. This fell on them. They didn't pick to be here. Now, I can tell you in all honesty, as for me, I didn't do anything that would have brought this on, so to speak. I wasn't smoking cigarettes or drinking drinks or getting high or anything. I stayed constant with walking with her, eating the right foods, making sure my diet was balanced, taking my paternity vitamins, drinking lots of water, getting lots of rest, all of that for her. To have her turn out like that was initially hurtful and disappointing. But now she's just incorporated into our world, and I couldn't see my life without having her in it. Steve Harvey, you sit up there, you fucking racist, lying asshole. You bash your ex-wives, but you tell us don't be with nobody like that. You tell us how to think like a man but be a woman, and yet you didn't even write that book. You bought that book, and anybody don't know better needs to look it up. You bought that book, and then you sit down with the writer and got your name put on there, and now you taking all the creds, but they don't get anything. You sit up there with your 5th, 6th, 7th marriage, however many this is, and you still messing around on your own at your radio station, truth be told, and you got allegedly, and you got your kids, wife up there, everybody singing your praises, and yet you still running up behind people like Paula Dean, who was been strictly racist forever, but you right there for that. Or you telling people walk away when they talk about slavery or history in general because you don't care about nothing about that. Well, I'm here to tell you that I don't care nothing about you. Thank goodness my daughter doesn't know who you are, because I wouldn't want her to have anything toxic around her. You're toxic and you're venomous. And if your wife is proud of things that you allegedly do, then keep on doing you. But leave these kids alone that can't help themselves, or these young adults who cannot help what God has given them. People like you who claim to be a so-called Christian, if you had Christianity in your heart, you know that God has a meaning and a purpose for everything. And He gives people certain tasks and duties in this life, and this is one of them, because their mere presence on earth elicits compassion and caring and love and support from other people, and it makes us become better people. Too bad it's not working for you. But as for mine, she's awesome. We love her, and ain't nothing wrong with her. Have a good night.